Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. All right, we are continuing on with the Gumball Flavors series. So if you are just joining Gumball Love, you just heard about it, or you've been around for a long time, I would love your input on this because I am actually in the process of writing Gumball Love, the book. And I have always kind of struggled with how to explain the gumball, even though it's been around for 10 years or over 10 years. There's always been a slight confusion around it. And so I'm really drilling down and quantifying or even simplifying this explanation. So I want you to think of the gumball in two ways. If somebody wants a gumball from you, which is attention, they want one of two things. And I want to know what you think about this. They want you to soothe them or stimulate them. So it could be soothe them because they need compliments or they need to be calm. They could really need to be calmed down. So soothing would be the pity gumballs. Soothing would be, we haven't gotten to this one yet, but the adore me, give me compliments gumball. But the stimulate me one could be, I want drama. I want to be entertained. So if you think of, or I want sex. So sex is a stimulant, drama is a stimulant, and entertainment is a stimulant. So that's red, orange, and yellow. And then actually the green gumball would also be a stimulant because that is creating competition between you and another woman. So those first four would be considered stimulation. So red, orange, yellow, green, then blue, the pity me gumball would be to soothe. And these are very general terms, but I just want you to be thinking about this from a general perspective. So if you're sitting somewhere and you're like, which color is which gumball? You don't have to worry about that. It's more, the color coding is more so when you are reading the book or you are focused on one specific type of attention that a certain person is always demanding of you. But I want you to think of it in two ways. Is this stimulating or is it soothing to them? So if I continue red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pitying is soothing. Purple is chase me. And that's what we're going to go over today is someone who is always creating the element of chase because it can be really confusing when you're dating where it's like this person wants me to chase them, but they appear like they're interested, yet they're always kind of pulling away or they just kind of keep you. One of my guy friends said they do just enough to keep you reeled in, but not enough to contribute to your life. Man, I have thought of that so many times because I remember dating different people and thinking of that going, there is no contribution to my life whatsoever. This is just, it's not really doing anything for me. This person is just taking up space or taking things from me. Okay, so I just want to make sure I go through all the colors. So purple is chase me. So that would be a stimulant. Pink is the adore me gumball. So that would be to soothe them. And then the prove yourself to me is the white gumball. And that could be either one. It could be to soothe them or stimulate them depending on their mood because a person who wants you to kind of prove yourself sits in a position of skepticism about you. So as you try to prove yourself, that could be stimulating to them or it could be soothing because it depends on how you're trying to prove yourself. So we'll get to that. That'll be the last in the series. So I want to get to the chase me, but I hope that's clear on the difference. So it's either to soothe, and each way it releases dopamine. When you are getting attention from somebody, they are entertaining you, it feels good, right? No, there's no question that these things feel good. And you're going to see me shift gears a little bit because as I have been diving deep and I've been working with my girl, Stephanie Crystal, she's been helping me really kind of, I hate the term flush out, but it is kind of what we're doing, is really taking out the noise and getting even more clear, because I want you to be able to quickly identify, is this person wanting attention or are they wanting connection with me? And really understanding the difference between the two. Is he falling in love, or does he think he's falling in love because he's high on attention? And this is a huge differentiator, because if they think they're falling in love, they will say the words, they will do the things that look like and sound like and act like falling in love. And how do you know the difference? It's sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes gumball guys are the quiet, brainy guy. They're really smart. They look like they're very kind, but they're actually just quiet. Or they are very smart. And so sometimes we interpret these different personalities as, I'm got a million thoughts running through my head, but I can just think back to different times where I had stereotyped certain kinds of moods or personalities, or I wasn't around them enough or didn't talk to them enough. And then I would make an assumption, oh, this is totally a nice guy. I made that assumption when a guy was quiet, that he was nice, and he was not nice. He was one of the meanest guys I've ever dated. So that's where I want you to be able to see the subtleties of what, and also what do you feel prompted to do? So one thing I have not focused on a lot is the quarter, and I'll probably do after the Gumball series. I'm going to show you what the quarters are. He puts in the quarter to get the gumball. So we can talk about how we stimulate him and how we soothe him. But what does he do to get us to do that? And that'll be coming down the road in the series. I can give a couple of examples as we go through the Chase Me, because it'll become really obvious in the Chase Me. So I'll do that, and then we'll kind of do a wrap up. So stay with me on this, because I may end up redoing this series as I get these definitions even more clear. And I'm just, when you're writing a book, it has to be, I really want the book to be like, this is the Gumball Love Bible. This is exactly what it looks like. So Chase Me, I have designated as purple. I have no idea why Chase Me would be purple. All the other colors kind of correlate, but Chase Me is in purple. So I always think of purple as royalty color. Here's one way you can think about it. I just thought of it. And it's like, I'm so cool. I'm like a king. I think I'm a king or a queen or a princess, and everybody should just follow me and wait for me, and everything is on my time scale. And so there's this feeling like the perfect Chase Me is someone who is busy all the time, yet they continue to ping you. But then they have a lot going on and they're just so busy. But, they probably also have watched all episodes of, some series on Netflix, yet they're just too busy to even text back. So they give you enough, just like the best quote, they do just enough to keep you reeled in, but not enough to contribute to your life, not enough to invest in you. So they're not investing in you at all. And I want you to just please know that ever since I've found the love of my life a year ago, I realized, wow, I should have just immediately ended it when I was not ever a priority, when I was being blown off. Like I should have never dealt with any of that behavior. I just didn't understand that was such a indicator of somebody that is not going to prioritize you, respect you, honor you, and treat you the way you deserve to be treated. So if you feel like, now I always say this too, because I never want my words to you or my advice to be taken as this is how it is. So any dating advice or any situation, I want you to layer it with compassion. or maybe I should say wrap it in compassion. And I just want always to have a little bit of softness, because we don't want to put people in categories too quickly or put them in a box, because people do make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Some people might be a little gumball-y, like, all these terms have come from this concept where they like gumballs and they do kind of like the attention, and they might even say they like attention, but they are still pretty good friends and they are good listeners most of the time. There are some people that you can't always keep their attention. They're not going to sit there and, take notes while you're talking. I have friends that they don't take notes, but I know they're listening to every word I've said and I get their undivided attention. Where other friends or family members, it may not be the case, but I know I'm loved and I know that they're not going to use me for a gumball, but they could have those tendencies. And so when you see these behaviors, I want you to just take time to observe it before you immediately make an assumption, and just be careful, because people are precious and I don't want us to make excuses for them. But what I want to teach you to do is adjust expectations versus just thinking you have to completely eliminate people. So there are some people, and I want you to think, okay, I'm really excited to talk about XYZ. I'm just over the moon. I'm so thrilled. And then you think about somebody you want to tell and say to yourself, okay, is this really the person that is going to be the best listener, that is going to that's going to honor the story? Because you don't want them to ruin it. You don't want them to ruin the story based on, you want them to kill your enthusiasm because they're not the best listener, or they may not be the best person to listen to you. And that's the only thing I mean by wrapping it with compassion, that we look at people and go, okay, this person might be a little gumball-y. They're not going to be the person that's going to hear a long story and stay with me and stay in tune. But they might be the perfect person to tell another type of story, a shorter version of what you're saying. So you can learn to adjust and still keep people in your life, but no, this person doesn't want to hear the intricate details. That's what I mean. And so, but when it comes to a significant other, it's a completely different story. And it doesn't mean, though, that just because they're your significant other, that they should be able to listen to every single thing. I think that we have to be careful too, that we haven't created, I have to have the perfect guy that does all of the things, because it just doesn't exist. We are not the perfect girl that does all of the things either. You know what I mean? Like, we can't, like, all the things that women are expected to do, cook and clean and look like a supermodel and, be from an exotic background, like all the things that we think are so perfect that a woman should have, or all these ridiculous standards that we would hold ourselves to. We know we are not going to be everything to a guy, and he's not going to be everything to us. So we just adjust those expectations. So that's the whole point. Is this person always requesting, are they addicted to the stimulant or to being soothed? Can I have a relationship with them without having to do that on a regular basis? Or does it become the thing that I'm always focused on? When you're talking to somebody who needs gumballs all the time, it starts to become like, okay, you get annoyed because you're being interrupted. You are being disrespected, and sometimes they don't mean to do it, but it's just how they are. They need that attention fix. They're going to get it. And if you are in their sphere, they're going to be putting in the quarter. So let's get into how the chase me gumball works. So we talked about the person who's super busy and they keep using that as an excuse. Work is so crazy right now, but let's hang out soon. Have you heard that from a guy? Work is so crazy right now, but let's hang out soon. What do you say to that? It's basically, I'm not acknowledging you and what you're doing. I'm just telling you it's crazy, but we should get together. That's something you could tell a friend that you really will hang out with soon. But if somebody's interested in you or interested in dating you, you're probably not going to hear work is crazy now, but let's hang out soon. Because work is always crazy. Is it really crazy? You know, all of us who think we're so crazy, but we really have a lot more time than we like to admit. So we make time for what is a priority. And so all you have to do is go, okay, this is not a priority to them right now. And so I am not going to chase them, because sometimes we respond with, oh yeah, I'm free on Saturday if that works for you. And they could respond to that, but you know when you feel like you're the one doing the chasing. So you could respond back, sounds great. That way you are also giving that equal response, and you're also not putting yourself out there. Because if he's asking you to chase him by, yeah, is crazy right now, but let's hang out soon. Now, that's a pretty low key chase me, but that same guy, after I've done this with guys where they'll say something like that and I've not responded, or I'll do something just as lame back and then I'll forget about them. Then they're like, hey, what you been up to? It's like, I thought work was crazy. You know what I mean? So not much. How are you? Great. Would still like to get together. And then you're like, okay, I thought you were blowing me off. So now he's back. But he's back and he's still lukewarm. So you're thinking WTF. So then there's the, sorry I didn't get back to you. Are you free later this week? This is the guy that makes plans but doesn't really make plans. Yeah, I'm free later this week. Yeah, we should really get together. And then he says, I'll get back to you on a specific time. But then he doesn't. And so you are continually chasing him, trying to pinpoint a time. And I want you to just remember, people make appointments every single day. They make doctor's appointments. They set up meetings. They're doing Zoom calls. Like, this is happening every single day. Millions of people, men and women, are able to open up calendars and put in slots and make time for things that are a priority. So if it's a, yeah, I'd love to hang out. How are you? How are you? Letter R, letter U, my favorite. What you been up to? You know, when you barely know them. So also, when someone strings you along, they really have zero respect for themselves. I want you to always remember that. If somebody does not respect themselves, then they will always disrespect other people. When we value our own time, when we value ourselves, we naturally will respect others. When we can see, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to keep you. People that respect your time will say, I don't want to keep you, let me call you back. Or I don't want to take too much of your time. That's somebody who doesn't want somebody to take their time because they value their time. So they wouldn't say, I'm going to string you along and send you texts that go nowhere and never really set up a time. Because what does that mean? It means they don't respect themselves. And it also means they don't know what they want, or they are spending their time with someone else that they're also not respecting. And they kind of want to keep you hanging there. So you are in limbo. Also not respected. And we only do this for them because we don't respect ourselves. So we're sitting there waiting for this guy. Yeah, we should get together. Yeah, because, you know, sometimes it would be they'd have a great picture online. You're like, oh man, this guy's really good looking and he seems great and he's got a great profile. Yeah, but he's not great because this is what he does to people. And so why would we put up with this? Really want you to ask yourself that. We're putting up with it because we have a habit of putting up with it. And we haven't gotten to a point where we say, you know what? I'm going to just focus on myself, invest in me. And this is why I created the whole Back to You Academy, which is not running right now, by the way. But I just want to tell you that I created this academy because I wanted all women to take that time for themselves to invest. One of my best girlfriends, she's doing this. She bought a new house. She has a new job. She's decorating her house. And I'm really encouraging her, don't date. Just focus on that because it's so important to invest in yourself and get yourself to where you feel good. You feel good in your body. You feel good about your job. You're paying off debt so that when you are meeting people, you're not meeting them from a oh, I feel gross in my body and my work is this and blah, blah, blah. And so the guy you're dating becomes the exciting part of your life. You want your life to already be exciting and then bring someone in that complements your life, that contributes to your life. But we don't feel like we deserve it when we have not treated ourselves correctly. So the way you're treating yourself, the way you're respecting yourself, the way you're loving yourself, the way you're taking yourself out on dates, trying new things and hobbies and investing in your future. All of these things are signs and the symptoms of someone who has a great life, somebody who cares about themselves. And this is what is attractive to other healthy people. They want to see that you are contributing to your 401k, that you're saving, that you have good credit, that you are doing what it takes to not only have a better life for yourself, but how are your decisions or their decisions affecting those around them? Look at their family, look at their friends. How are they interacting with those people? How do they contribute to other people's lives? So when you think about the guy who wants you to chase him, it's because he doesn't have any of that stuff in his life taken care of yet. So he creates the chase a lot of times because he's hiding something. And most of the time, it's not anything drastic. Most of the time, people are hiding a relationship or a financial situation or a job situation. And they string people along because it's exciting to get text messages. It's exciting to have the potential of dating someone. It's exciting to know that somebody wants to go on a date with you. But a lot of times, they don't like themselves enough and they're not ready. They're afraid. And so they create the chase for various reasons. But I can tell you on the other side of this chase, we think something is wrong with us. So it's like, this guy just keeps blowing me off. Why am I not exciting enough to go on a date with? These are the things that I would question about myself when, for the most part, my life was always pretty well together. Did I have a lot of self-confidence? Did I have hobbies? Did I live a full life? No. And I'm so glad that those things are intact now and that I know those things. But even when I was dating, it wasn't like I was a hot mess. And I'm saying that because maybe you feel like you have a lot of work to do. And when we feel like that, we think, maybe that's why he's blowing me off. Maybe I don't have enough together. All of that self-doubt creeps in. But I want you to always think, if someone is creating a chase and they're making me work hard just to get time with them, sometimes they are just not ready. Sometimes people are just emotionally screwed up. They've got something else that's taking up their time and their emotions. And whatever that is, sometimes they're just going through something. They could be going through drug rehab, alcohol rehab. They could be still doing drugs and trying to get away from them. Or, they could just be a drug addict in general. And so then these ups and downs, you're catching them on either side and you're interpreting it as he's rejecting me. So I just want you to keep these things in mind. There's a million different things that could be going on, and we have to get ourselves to a place that we feel confident enough that we're not constantly questioning, he must not be writing me back because I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not exciting enough. Because all of those are stimulants, right? Stimulants, or I'm not stimulating him, or I'm not soothing him enough. And we are not going to reel a guy in with gumballs. My mom just saw an ad for how to stimulate his infatuation something, energy, or his infatuation response. Well, why would we want to stimulate his infatuation response? So everybody that's selling this is like, stimulate his, that thing that happens when you fall in love and you feel all infatuated. How do you stimulate that? Well, why would you want to do things to artificially stimulate that? And also notice how we're using the word stimulate. How immediately I'm doing something that isn't authentically me. So then, how long do you have to do that? And then does that method turn into actual love. Because all these people selling these things that teach you how to chase a man or how to get a man to chase you, why are we trying to get people to do anything that they don't want to do or they're not already doing? The guy that's for you will want, and it's not even going to be about chasing you. He's just going to want to talk to you. He's just going to want to be around you. You will be interesting to him. You will be fun. You will get along. You will be compatible. And this is what happens when you meet your soulmate, your significant other. It's like they're custom made for you. They are custom made for you. And so if we go in with the idea that we have to somehow artificially present ourselves to stimulate or activate different parts of a man's brain because we think that some dude sitting in a YouTube channel knows how all men think, and now we're, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, then you're going to start to do all these things that aren't you. And the guy you're supposed to be with falls in love with you. So this whole idea of chasing and being chased and doing things so that they chase you, it's all a lie. And happily married couples don't do it. I want you to remember, that's why I'm sitting here right now, is because I read all of that crap and I finally stopped and said, what's going on here? I'm going to ask people that have the result. So it'd be like going to the gym, go to the gym and ask the trainers, do you do any of the fad diets? Do you do the keto diet? Do you do the Atkins diet? Do you do the intermittent fasting? Ask them what they do. Ask the most fit people what they do. And almost every single time they will tell you, I eat right and I exercise, I drink water and I sleep. I asked my trainer this. What's the best way to get fit? Sleep. Sleep is key. And nutrition. Those are top over working out. And this is a guy who's ripped. Sleep and nutrition, top two. Then working out. Drinking water. Those are and I said, what do you eat? Basically, vegetables and protein. That's it. And water. Do you have a pizza? Occasionally. That's it. It's simple, right? But that's not exciting. So it's hard to sell that because there's no money in it. Because it's just eat right and exercise. So we have to sell things that are much more stimulating or soothing. Here's the easy path to getting fit. So when you're looking at things that people are selling to help you find love, it's the easy route. It's gumball love. Activate his infatuation. I mean, I could tell you, you know how to do it right now. Just figure out what kind of gumballs he wants and give them to him. Then you'll have a guy that's really excited to talk to you for a while. And then when you run out of ways to create, you only have so many pink gumballs for so long, and then he's going to want them from somebody else. I wish I could make us like every woman has a different gumball machine. She has so many gumballs for, each guy but it's just too confusing. But I want you to just think of each gumball guy wants a certain kind of attention, but each experience expires. It's a sugar high. You can't maintain it. So otherwise, what you would be doing is you would be studying what he wants, trying to anticipate it, and then giving him what he wants. And then hoping that would work. And so what is that? It is love based on conditions, conditional love. Nobody's out there searching for conditional love. So, and all of these things like stroke a man's ego. Do you know when it's easy to stroke a man's ego? When you actually mean everything you say, because you actually love them so much that it just comes out because that's how it is. It's the difference between fondness and admiration versus a self-serving. If I'm giving him the gumball because I want him to do something for me, then I'm kind of a gumball girl too. I'm giving a gumball to get a gumball. But if I genuinely admire, I'm fond of him. I admire him. I respect him. I see what he does and it's like, wow, you're so amazing. Then that comes from, so I was thinking about good gumballs versus bad gumballs. Good gumballs, of course, when we're sharing those things, it feels good and there's going to be a dopamine high. But if it's done in a self-serving way, if I do it for an effect, that's when you know it's a bad gumball. If he puts the quarter in to get you to do something, bad gumball. Those are gumballs that don't manifest in anything. So attention is not necessarily bad. We all love attention. But if the gumball becomes the currency of the relationship, which is also something I've thought about using in this concept of, it's like you're trading on this currency of attention seeking. And so you are, when people are high, it's great. But when they're not, there's no, it's like bottomless. You just plummet. There's no foundation. There's no steadiness. And this is where a healthy relationship stays on a steady line. And there are moments where it can be very, and I want to, let me just stop there for a second. The steady line is very content, very happy, very smooth, easy. Just, it's like hanging out with your best friend, where, when you hang out with somebody you really like, there's banter, might be bickering here and there. You disagree on certain things, but it never gets super dramatic, or you're not riding big highs, but it's the person you can ride in a car in a long trip. You can go on vacation. You can spend a week overnight. You can spend a lot of time in their space because you just enjoy their company, even when nothing exciting is happening. So I want you to keep that in mind, that that's the steady line. So if you're just doing your everyday life and you are acknowledged and you're loved, there's your significant other has a fondness and an admiration for you, then yes, there will be compliments. There will be a sense of maybe them chasing you because they want to spend time with you, but it's not done in a manipulative way or a self-serving way. So they're not putting in quarters to get you to do those things. So what's another example of someone trying to get you to chase them? I really like you. I'm just going through a lot right now. Okay. So that person wants you to say, well, what's going on? What are you going through? I'm so sorry to hear that. And you know how it goes. Sometimes they really start telling you things, or they do. Do you remember when Facebook first came out and it was called vague booking, where people would just post? And don't you hate it when one comes up in your memories? You're like, oh my God, I totally vague booked 9 years ago. What an a-hole I was. Like, just, oh my God, what a frustrating day. But people were just doing it. Ugh, it's like Facebook memories are the worst. Sometimes you're like, God, we were just so stupid when Facebook first came. We didn't know, we were just posting whatever. So that's something that people will do to get you to keep reaching out to them. And they will create, and sometimes they will want other gumballs. Feel sorry for me, but chase me. Pity me, but chase me. So you can work other gumballs in, or they might want you to entertain them while you're chasing them. Keep texting me, keep reaching out. Because if someone says, I really like you, I'm just going through a lot right now. No problem, understand. I wish you the best. Hope everything works out. And then they're like, well, no, I'm still interested. Okay, so you want me to stay here in this, just think of yourself in, like a penalty box or a waiting room. Oh, how long would you like me to stay in the waiting room? What are you supposed to do with that? No, I still want you to text me and keep in touch with me. I'm just not going to be proactive until I feel like it. This is the royalty syndrome. I'm a king, I'm a queen, I take my time and you wait on me. And so we have to resist the urge to chase and go, no, best of luck to you, because if they really are going through something, that's your way of saying, I respect you. I respect exactly what you're saying, and I'm not going to pursue it further. And so you don't. So then they'll give you vague answers. So you might say, your responses could be, yeah, I have Thursdays and Saturdays open. Yeah, I can meet. What time works for you? I really like you too. I was hoping we could meet up soon. All of these are us pursuing. it's okay. We don't have to get into anything. Just would like to spend some time together. Sometimes we're just like, hey, I just want to spend some time. We don't have to be in a relationship. We start offering, oh, if you don't want to actually date, even though you were on a dating website and we started texting and now you're too busy, if you don't want to actually date, then let me make it easier for you. Let me make this soothing. Let's relax. And I will acquiesce to what you want. And then immediately we are disrespecting ourselves because you want to get married, you want to have a family, and now you are settling for a Netflix and chill with a guy that should actually be taking you out on a date. So he's indecisive, but he wants you to chase him. And what this really comes down to a lot of times is chase me has nothing to do with what they're actually saying. It's that in the chase, he's still getting attention. But the moment he sets up a date, he could be rejected. So the longer he drags out the chasing, the longer he gets attention from you. And chances are he has other women he keeps on the line. And eventually people get bored or they lose interest or they start dating someone else. But there are guys that keep tons of women in this situation. And it can go on for months or years. I know women that have been in this situation for years. They're in a relationship with someone else. And they still want, they're married or they're in a serious relationship. They're living with someone. I helped a client. Oh my God, it's just so happy. She was in this situation for years with a guy who kept making promises, who kept saying, I love you, I want to be with you. But he wouldn't make the decision to leave the other girl. He would get close. He would storm out. He would come stay with her sometimes. She would think that he was going to leave and then he would go back. And he kept doing this to her over and over and over again. And it sounds like, well, why would you ever do that? What's wrong with a girl that does that? By the way, I hate that question. So as a coach, if you ever book a session with me, you will never get that response. Some people are like, oh, Melissa, you're probably thinking, what is wrong with me? I'm never thinking what is wrong with you because I know how that happens. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow erosion of your self-worth and your value, and you're doing things the best version of you wouldn't do, but you have to build back up to her. You can't just become that overnight because someone says, hey, why would you stay with that guy? That's ridiculous. It's because that's where you are right now. And you need people that will meet you where you are and not judge you and help you get to the next step and build yourself back to where you were layer by layer. And that's why I also call the Academy Back to You, because it's like, I'm going to get back to myself. I'm going to build myself back. So that's what I want you to be thinking of. This is also the guy that ghosts and he wants you and then comes back out of nowhere. So let's start there. The guy that ghosts and then comes back. So the natural response is, well, where'd you go? And the guy that has no respect for himself, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to, disappear, but now I'm back. And so now that I'm back, since I'm the queen or the king, now you should talk to me and I shouldn't even be sorry. Now, sometimes people will say, I'm sorry I disappeared. I'm sorry that, I had a lot going on. I didn't mean to ignore you. And I'm not saying that person doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Because hear them out. I don't think there's, anything wrong with just listening to what they have to say. I mean, I developed this whole platform by a lot of times listening to a guy that maybe I shouldn't have given the time of day to, but sometimes you learn something. And I didn't date any of them long term, but I would learn a little bit more. And what I usually always came back with is, wow, I blamed myself. I doubted myself. And 9 times out of 10, it had nothing to do with me. And when it does have something to do with you, sometimes you're just not compatible. You're just not that person. You're not a fit for each other. You're not a fit for him. There were so many guys I was not a fit for, and I questioned myself. Now that I've met the love of my life, I thank God. They did not think I was a fit for them, because when you are not sure of who you are, you tend to try to force it with people that really aren't meant for you. And when you meet the person that is meant for you, you will be shocked at how things line up and click like they never could have with the person that you're hoping for, trying for. And look, maybe the person you're hoping for, maybe the person that you really want is for you. It's just not the right time. And so you have to say, okay, this person is not in a position for whatever reason to give me the relationship I'm looking for. So you let them go. If they come back to you, great. If not, then you know it wasn't meant for you. My good friend Kara Alwaleba says she always repeats this quote. I don't know who said it. If you know who said it, would you let me know? What is for you will not pass you. What is for you will not pass you. When I first started talking to my love, I worried about it all the time. Like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I don't want to lose him. What if I lose him? I was still scared of that because I had never felt this deep of a connection before. And that was an evolving process for me to realize what is for me will not pass me. And the person who is meant to fall in love with you you're not going to be able to scare them away with anything. I cannot scare my guy away with anything. No matter what weird family story I tell to random habit that I have or whatever, that my dogs still eat poop because they're disgusting little dogs that I love so much. But the one that's a puppy, the first one ate her poop. Then I got her broken of that habit. She pottied like a champ. She was trained. Then Lucy came in and ruined everything and reignited the excitement of eating poop. So I've got it pretty under control, but it's not 100%. I'm like, and my dogs eat poop. He's just like, I don't care if your dog, it's like, you're not going to scare him away. When the things you think are so horrible about yourself, the person meant for you is not going to even care about those things. So I just want you to keep that in mind. These people we're chasing are not meant for us. So you have to respect yourself and also realize that the man who doesn't respect himself does this to other people. And they do it outside of romantic relationships too. I've known people that will try to get salespeople to continue to follow up with them, or people in direct marketing. They'll even egg people on with direct marketing just because they like the chase. They like being, sought after. They like people wanting, if you've ever been in a direct marketing company, I used to do Mary Kay, and I think that's the only one I did. Or sometimes people just liked the fact that you were calling them, that you wanted to talk to them, but they weren't really ever going to sign up. They weren't really ever going to do anything, but they wanted you to pursue them. And man, I wish I would have known that earlier on so I could have, avoided wasting all that time. So the more we respect ourselves, the more we enjoy ourselves, the less we're going to chase, and the more we're going to find the people that really do love us and spend all of our time around them. I can tell you for the past few years, I've spent 0 time around people that don't enjoy me. And now I have very little insecurities or self-doubt. It just gets better and better because I just keep reinforcing and then adding people into my life, whether they're business connections or I just love all the women I work with. My clients are amazing. And I've just learned how to curate my life to where it's congruent with the types of people, the types of energy. And you guys, I remember hearing people say to do these kinds of things. I remember listening to Kara from Champagne Diet or Alex Beaton or I don't know, just various people that are very successful, and they would say surround yourself with these kinds of people. And I wish they would have said, this takes time. You got to figure out yourself, and as you're figuring out yourself, you figure out who connects with you, who you work best with, and they're difficult decisions that happen over time. And so now I look at the people that I choose, whether it's for this podcast or whether it's to help me with the book or it's to do website. It's a whole different process that I didn't know how to do, but I just learned by adding the right people that as I evolved myself. So I just want you to think of it as this is an adventure. This is not a black and white 1, 2, 3 ABC kind of a thing. It's a messy process. It's like, take a pen and write it in circles in a maze and this way and zig and zag, it's not going to be the perfect path. But as long as you keep putting effort, as long as you keep showing up and you show up for yourself. So we still have to do this. Like, are you taking care of your skin? Are you taking care of your health? Are you taking your vitamins? You're going to the gym? Are you going to the sauna or the steam or getting a massage or making sure, like when I was getting a facial, she was like, oh my gosh, your chest is just so tight, the muscles there, because I've been sitting at a desk too much. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I need to be stretching more. I need to be getting more active and loosen up those muscles. And so it's just one thing, like make sure you are checking in with yourself and that you have systems, that you have people that will keep you accountable. This is what we do so that we have a great life. And this is how it looks when you love yourself. So think about this. What does it look like when I love myself? What does my life look like when I'm taking care of myself? And it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be you've made all your gym times and you've crossed off and checked marked every box. It's not going to look like that. But what does it look like if, what are the main things that need to get done in a month or 3 months or 6 months that say, this is when I am proud to sit in a social setting or on a date or in a meeting and I feel like, yeah, I'm on track. And I want you to just work at those things so that I can't really describe how this happens, but you'll you'll get that text that says, yeah, work is really crazy right now. And you'll be like, oh God. And you'll just roll your eyes. And you will know that guy is boring. I don't care how cute his picture looks. If that's who he is and where he is, bleh, it will start to turn you off naturally. You won't have to force yourself into the decision. You will at first. You're going to have to force yourself to resist the chasing. When he think of him as putting the quarter in and you sit there, and don't let him turn that dial. So then when he says, let me look at one of my work is crazy now, but let's hang out soon. And you don't say anything. What do you got going on this week? And you sit there. So then what do you got going on this week is a little crank of the trying to get the gumball. And you can say something like, yeah, sounds great. Let me know what works for you. You don't have to completely shut it down, but there comes a point when you do, because it's not going anywhere. And even if the guy might eventually set up a time, if it's this much work, he doesn't have enough respect for himself or for you. And so I want you to think, I don't want to date a guy who can't even set up a date. Can you show up for dinner? Can you go to a movie theater? Is this hard? It is not hard. It is easy. But if it's hard for him and he doesn't have that respect for himself or for you, this is your red flag. And so I want you to feel it out in your gut, wrap it in compassion. Okay, I've given this guy the benefit of the doubt, maybe this or that, but at some point you're gonna have that self-respect as you keep working on yourself and you keep contributing to your own life. It's going to get easier and easier for you to go, because if you catch yourself doing more effort, if you catch yourself doing the work, then that's when you know, okay, this is not for me. Okay. So I hope this helps you understand the stimulant and the soothe. Am I stimulating him? Am I soothing him? Is he putting in the quarter and I'm giving the gumball? What happens when he puts the quarter in and I don't give him the gumball? Then how does he respond? Is it more agitated? Does he blow me off? What kind of a guy is this? And as you start to evaluate this, you can also be evaluating this with other people in your life. So you don't have to always be thinking about dates. You can think of coworkers. You can think of family members. Who are the gumball people in your life? How are they manipulating you to get them to give you attention? And are you doing it to other people? Are you trying to get maybe you have a boyfriend, you're trying to get him to give you compliments. You're trying to get him to, sometimes just as a side note, sometimes when we're trying to get a gumball, we really have a question that we're afraid to ask. I've learned to do this in my relationship, where if I feel like I'm not clear on something, instead of being whiny or attention seeking. I'll just ask what I really want to know. And you know what? It's like beautiful conversations have resulted in that. It's like, do I really need attention or do I just need clarification here? If you are feeling insecure, say you're feeling insecure. The right dude can handle it. I'm feeling insecure in the moment. Guess what? Guys feel insecure too. It happens. Guys are emotional. Women are emotional. Guys are just, men and women have differences for sure, but all women have differences among each gender has differences within itself. You're not like your best girlfriend. He's not like his best guy friend. So there's so many nuances and idiosyncrasies that separate us all as individuals. So that's why I always say, wrap it in compassion. And I want to say, wrap it in compassion because I don't want us making these decisions about gumball guys in anger. More of a, that's too bad. This guy is good looking, he's got a good career, but for whatever reason, he has trouble scheduling a date because he's insecure about something. He's hiding something, but if he's on a dating site and he's expressing interest and he proactively texts yet can't follow through, that's an issue on him. Okay? And that's what I want you to hear me out. He saw your profile, he looked at your picture, he talked to you on the phone, he's still texting you back, yet he won't follow through. There's something he's not telling you. Can't tell you how many times I say that in a coaching call. There's something you don't know. You'll find out later that will explain this behavior. But if you keep questioning yourself, you're only going to get more and more insecure, more self-doubt, which pushes you in the wrong direction. So we want to always be looking at it from both sides. Okay, I've done everything I can do here. I am interested in this guy, but we can't make that guy be the end all be all. I always have a phrase, don't marry him before you meet him. Like you can't marry a guy before you even know anything about him. Just because he has a cute profile and, you've already put your last name to his last name. It's like, or his last name with your name, like we can't do that until we really know somebody, that we've spent time talking to them. We've invested with each other, that the feelings of infatuation turn into love and we see that love over time. You know what I mean? So much I could talk all day. There's so much to it, but I just want to leave you with that. So you always can think of, this isn't always about you. This doesn't mean you're not enough. If a guy is playing these games, there's something else going on his side. All right. So that concludes the purple gumball. So we'll call it the royalty, not syndrome, but complex. He has the royalty complex. I'm the king. You will do things on my time frame. So I want you to think, well, I know I hate the king and queen and princess concept because I don't want people ever elevating, but if he's the king, you're a queen and you're equals. So nobody should be doing that to the other person. And if he doesn't have time, he doesn't have time. But think of it as, purple gumball, royalty complex. And am I going to spend time doing this? And when you shift your perception about it, what does Wayne Dyer say? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so when you look at him differently, all of a sudden the whole thing changes. And now you see it in a different light, which helps you take the pressure off yourself. And just know, the right person you will not have to chase. The right person, things will flow. And it's not going to be in the same way as it flowed with somebody else. Your story will be completely different than my story because no two love stories are the same. Okay? So I'm going to leave you there. If you have questions, email me, Melissa, MELISSA, @gumballove.com. Make sure you get those 3 L's, 2 L's in gumball, 1 in love, gumballove.com. That's my website as well, gumballove.com. You can catch me on Instagram at the Melissa Ledger, LEGER, no D in my last name. And that would be the best way. Email or Instagram DMs. That's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me. And if you have a request on a podcast episode that you would like to hear, or you would like to hear a topic covered, I always love hearing ideas from you. So until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, A 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.